Imagine a thriving business, you're making millions of dollars coming every single month, you are living the dream life that you always wanted, and then losing it all. This is the story of my failures into a success, the story to test my resilience, my bravery, my commitment to my ideals, and really just how I lost millions of dollars and then I had to come back from it, from all of the debts, how I discovered high-ticket dropshipping, how it saved my life, to be honest, and really the lessons that I have acquired moving forward and really where I'm at now. So make sure if you guys find value in today's video, like, comment, subscribe. Let's get right into it. When I first discovered high-ticket dropshipping, I was actually selling as a dropshipper site on eBay already. So like I was selling eBay products on my dropshipping store. And the first winning product that I ever scaled to the moon where I did make millions of dollars was the portable air conditioner. I made a lot, but I also got into tons of refunds, tons of chargebacks, which is why I had to transition. I had to really figure out, should I continue dropshipping or should I get a job? And that's where I decided to continue staying on. Pretty much a few months later, I found this patio heater product. And during that time, outdoor dining was everywhere. And so I got a lot of patio heater sales. I was selling it for about $600 and I was getting it for $300 to $400. So there's about $200 to $300 profit margin. And I was just selling it at scale. I ran into lots of fulfillment problems from eBay, but really I was introduced to the model of high ticket dropshipping as I was selling the patio heaters, because I was like, yo, I could sell $500 items. Why can't I sell $5,000 items? So that's how I got into the high ticket dropshipping world. The idea of selling high value products is always an epiphany moment for me, meaning like, it makes sense. Why not sell something that's $4,000, get one sale, worry about one client, and the profit margins are the same to that $140 items? It only makes sense. If I'm gonna deal with 100 customers, at least let me deal with 104,000 paying customers. The question is just like, oh, how do I get sales from these $4,000 clients? But if you know the way, you know the tactics, you know the sales strategies and the ads, then why not go for it? So it's always been a very captivating type of thing for me. When I discovered high ticket dropshipping, the niche that captivated me the most was definitely patio heaters. I was looking for patio heater suppliers because I couldn't find it on eBay. So I found this one supplier, Bromic Heater, and I wanted to sell them. And that's when I discovered, oh wow, I could sell patio heaters from dropship friendly suppliers. And that's how I got introduced to it. From then on, I started venturing out and I started seeing the whole entire landscape, how big the ocean was, because you could go into the health and wellness niche, so gym equipment, there's also wood chipping niche, there's electric bikes, so many different niches. And that's when I got introduced to it and I was like, wow, like I got to learn this, because if I could have suppliers that actually are dropship friendly and like they do the fulfillment, yeah, I could do the marketing. I think I could handle customers. So let's try it. So when I first started off setting up my high ticket dropshipping store, it was a lot easier for me because I already had been building out my dropshipping stores. I already had experience with creating Shopify stores. So it wasn't that hard for me to just add new products listed onto my website. I was already running Google Shopping. So now it's just applying new tactics, and it was just learning a lot for me when it came to high ticket. I was able to skip through a lot of the curve because I already had a lot of the prereqs of having your Google ads set up, your Google Merchant Center, Google Analytics. The high ticket dropshipping model was like a no-brainer for me. So I pretty much just went into the home and garden niche. If you guys are wondering, I went to the home and garden niche and then I found different product types that fit well with my store based off of the sales that I got. So that's how I just went about with the niche selection. But I'm here to tell you right now, every niche works. There are winners and losers in every niche. It's more about you knowing or having a affinity for your niche. And we'll get more into that later in like more course trainings, but that was my approach when I first got introduced into high ticket dropshipping. When I first started seeing success from high ticket dropshipping, not low ticket dropshipping, not patio heater dropshipping, it was legitimately high ticket dropshipping. I was making $100,000 a month and I was trying to make it consistently. I was very happy. I thought that I made it again. And because, you know, I had lost millions from the previous venture and I thought I was good, I pretty much outsourced a lot of my workload. I hired lots of workers and I even hired a really close friend of mine, and pretty much I outsourced everything. But the struggles or the challenges that I started facing was, what do you do when the sales are just not coming in sometimes? If you're running the ads, doing it what you're supposed to, like why are sales or profits not increasing every month? As a business, you start hitting stagnates, you start hitting areas where you start like just falling off. And I started pointing fingers, and to be honest, well, I don't know what I was doing. Like, why was I pointing fingers? It wasn't the workers' fault, because at the end of the day, the business is mine. The business is my fault. And what ended up happening was I lost the trust in them. I had to let some of them go, and it's very sad that I don't like, unfortunately, and I had to pick up the calls myself and I had to handle them. And even if I didn't want to, I knew internally that I need to put in the reps. And so what ended up happening was I just got really really good with talking to my customers. Now, I'm not like no master right now, no Shaolin in sales, but I've done enough reps to confidently say that if a customer comes and we talk on the phone, let's talk. Like, let me provide you value. Let me see how I could help you and how I could serve you. And so because now I'm fully confident and truthfully, there's just too many customers that I can't handle, I've decided to outsource it again, but only when I was really confident that I could share insights, shortcuts. I'm the go-to person because I've done the reps so many times. Because what are you gonna do if your worker goes, well, you ain't even do it yourself? What are you gonna do? So yeah, I think when you first start off high ticket dropshipping, you might not run into VA issues. I mean, once you hit $10,000 a month, $15,000 a month, things start getting more hectic. You might consider resourcing, you might consider outsourcing, but my only suggestion for you is don't outsource until you could really confidently in your heart say that, okay, I really can't handle this workload. I'm gonna get an assistant to help me. Then and only then should you do it, because don't rely on your VAs or your workers to carry your business forward. You gotta carry it, and they're just there to help you offload the tasks that could get done even if they're not there. Really, number one thing that high ticket dropshippers fail to do when they're scaling, if maybe they're hitting their first $50,000 a month, it's the operations internally that you have to fine tune to get to 100K. When you first start off trying to get to 50,000 a month, it's really just gonna be your website, your suppliers, and your ads. If you don't have success going to 0 to 50K, then it's gonna be in these problems. Once you hit to 50K, getting to 100, you're gonna face more internal and sales process problems, all of which have their fair shares of challenges and outcomes. And if you guys wanna learn more, check out my private Facebook community. Ask us any questions, because there, me and my business partner, Trevor, we go in-depth weekly calls to answer all of you guys' questions. Dealing with competition in the high ticket dropshipping space is quite straightforward. So the first rule of thumb when everybody goes into business is that you think about pricing. Everybody's thinking about pricing. So when it comes to pricing, there's something known as MAP policy. MAP policy really stands for minimum advertising price. What that basically means is that every single advertiser, every person or dealer that is promoting the brand, you can't go below a certain price. So if MAP is set at $1,000, you cannot sell for $999.97. I've tested it, so you don't have to try. I was violating MAP, I got called out, and you don't want to be in that standpoint. So from a business standpoint, I think that's a very fair share of marketplace. Only work with suppliers that enforce MAP policy, minimum advertising price, because all dealers, everybody that is selling those products cannot go below that price, which means it's a fair market. Now it's going to come down to your marketing and your sales process. One of the challenges that I was facing was that I was overspending on my ads. It wasn't that I wasn't getting sales, it wasn't that I wasn't getting profit, but how do we optimize it and lean it so that we get even more profits and we get even more sales? The funnel strategy that I recommend is exactly what it is. The ad strategy is a funnel strategy. It's a top of funnel, middle funnel, and the bottom of the funnel strategy. I'll make another video to explain more of that in depth, but the goal of this strategy is to target people in the lower funnel, which basically is the bottom of the funnel, people with the warmest purchase intent. If you're able to micro target and target people that are specifically buying in the bottom range of the funnel, which basically entails keywords that have very high purchase intent. For example, living room TV is a general term. Samsung TV is a medium term. Samsung 36-inch TV is a low term. So if you could target, or the clicks that come onto your website are people that are searching Samsung 36-inch TV, and you're selling a Samsung 36-inch TV, you got the supplier, you got the ads, if you have a good website, it all comes down together. Then it comes to the last thing, which is your sales process. Sales process is a little bit more complicated. I go more in depth in our mentorship program course. I go more in depth inside our community, showing you the lingos and the style that I use to talk to clients. But really, your sales process, how do you close sales? How do you talk to your customers? How do you translate that energy to your team? So you gotta keep all of that in check. And if you put all of those boxes in check, you're gonna build yourself a really profitable, sustainable, high-ticket dropshipping store. Some of the challenges that you will face when you are scaling or you're getting orders for your dropshipping store is fulfillment. It's shipping and the logistics. So when it comes to shipping and logistics, your manufacturer or the suppliers that you're working with, they're usually handling the fulfillment. And so now it becomes a slippery slope or a balance where if you're gonna get sales for a supplier, you also gotta make sure that the supplier is very notable or they're, on their word. I've seen other students, other people in the past in high ticket dropshipping work with suppliers that when you get sales for them, they just don't respond out of nowhere. And then those orders that you get, the money that you paid for, it just gets lost. And that's how people get clipped. That's how people get screwed over. But that's the reality of the business. It's also up to you as a dealer, as a dropshipper, to be very careful with who you work with. Make sure that you trust the brand, because the brand that I'm working with, all of the brands I actually advertise and I'm actually partaking and I'm selling their products, I believe in them. Like, I full-heartedly think that they have a really good business. I think they have a really cool product. I love the people in it. I am blessed to have the opportunity to have cross paths with the brands that I work with, and I'm here to help promote. I'm here to run the marketing. I'll do the marketing well, and the customers that come in, that is generated from my brand's demand, the market demand generated from my brands, I will take care of these customers. I'm gonna give them the best customer service, and that's what they're looking for from dealers too, right? It's a mutual win situation when both players are doing what they're supposed to. Manufacturer with logistics, with fulfillment, getting the orders, making sure the customers are happy, building product, and us as a dealer, as a dropshipper, our goal is to provide exceptional customer service to all of the people that like this, and also cover up the marketing and take over marketing landscape. That's where we get our share. If we put all of these together, it becomes a very unstoppable team, and that's what you see in the biggest players of high ticket dropshipping. You'll see that a lot of the big players, they work with big brands, and it's a really good partnership that's fostered, and it's really cool because you could really start off with $500,000. Obviously you want a little bit more, maybe like $1,500, $2,000, but really build a 6, 7, 8-figure empire. It's absolutely crazy that you could do it from the comfort of your home, but that's the realities of high ticket dropshipping. Now, scaling. You guys want to know how to scale a store to 100,000. So I talked about it a little bit before, but I'll go more in depth. If you're at $0 to 50,000, your goal is to manage 3 things. You need to make sure your website, suppliers, ads. You got to make sure that all of those 3 things are taken care of. If you can, then you should have the foundations to get your first 10,000 into 20,000, 30,000. Usually once you get your first sale or two and you start seeing traction, you start getting profits, you want to reinvest that money back into ads and really just vertical scale. If you don't know what vertical scale is when you up the budget. Horizontal scale is when you go broad. So go look into more of that, but you want to vertical scale up to 50K. And then if you're struggling with profits, if you're struggling with scaling to 100, then it's going to come down to your sales process and how you're managing that back end. So here's how I lost it all, guys. I almost lost it 2 times. The first time was with low ticket dropshipping, and I go more in depth to that story of how I scaled a portable air conditioner to the moon, and then I made millions of dollars and I lost it all. Then I had to go in debt. Then I had to climb my way out using high ticket dropshipping. But from high ticket dropshipping, I almost lost it all again because I was making sales, and at one point the ad cost started getting more expensive than the actual profits, and I started losing money from there. And the way I was able to counteract that pretty much was I lowered the operating expense. I cut off a lot of the team. I had to just let some people go. I had to lower all my plans. I cut off all of those. And then from then on, it was really just the overhead of having a Shopify store, which is like $30 a month. And then advertising costs, which is about $3,000 to $5,000 monthly budget. You could always start off lower, but at the time, that was my budget. And those were really my expenses. And then from there, I just had to clear units. So I started focusing the ads into products that make me $1,000 profit margin. And I know they're good suppliers, so the fulfillment is handled well. And I just had to clean units, make 5 sales a month, 10 a month, 15 a month, and it just keeps on getting bigger. And as you get more sales, I had to build out new teams and train and build new resources, learn from my own mistakes of how I almost lost it all again because of just poor outsourcing, poor automation, implementation, and it's all my fault. So I just got better with what I did. I just stuck with the boring work, and now I'm here showing you guys the ropes, I guess. Key lesson for high ticket dropshipping before I let you guys go is your sales process. So if you're in high ticket dropshipping right now and you're struggling to get to 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 a month, it's most likely going to be in your sales process. Your sales process is pretty much when a client calls you on the phone or they give you a live chat. Many of the times when you're in the high ticket dropshipping space, most people, when you live chat them, don't respond afterwards. Like a client might message us on live chat on Tidio or Chatra, and we might respond like 2 minutes later, but by that time the customer is already off, and then the only way we actually contact them is by email. Because think about it, from a customer standpoint, is this item in stock? No response. Goodbye. And that's just what's gonna happen. They give you like 10 seconds. If you don't respond in 10 seconds, goodbye. And so the buyer's journey is very long too. Nobody's just gonna go out of their way to spend, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 just like that immediately. They take time. They gotta look at their credit. They gotta balance the finances. So how do you mitigate that? We pretty much changed the game. We incorporated SMS into live chat. How? That's the PeakFlow CRM. I'm not gonna go pitch you that right now. You don't need it because you're not at 50,000 yet. If you are, then let me know. We use SMS as our proprietary live chat system. So when we talk to customers, we're talking to them through SMS. We're able to actually hold a conversation with them, and we're able to keep track of everything. From then on, once we're able to minimize that communication lag, now it's just about talking to the customer figuring out who or what they like, and then that came into my sales process. I was just talking to customers all day, and I figured out who my target audience is. I know what they're looking for. The questions started becoming the same. So from then on, I was able to teach my workers and build actual foundation to grow the business. So sales process all came from that. Hopefully you guys understand that's how important sales is. And don't think that sales is the same as marketing. Marketing is the process of getting the customers. Sales is actually turning these customers into a warm sale, a close, right? Marketing is getting the people. Sales is actually turning these people into paying clients. Looking back on my dropshipping journey, it has truly been a movie for the ages. It's been a true ride. I have no complaints. I'm blessed. I'm living in paradise right now. And I hope that you guys find value in this. I shared a lot of the insights that I've learned from the very beginning of dropshipping to discovering high ticket dropshipping to just learning how to build a business. My goal is to document all of this inside my journey over here. If you found this video valuable, consider subscribing, giving me a like. That would help with the algorithm. And also, here is a free high ticket course from PeakFlow to you on exactly how to build your first successful dropshipping store. And I'll see you guys all on the inside. Until next time.